Good evening, and welcome to Bold Moves Radio. The program is a very new program, but it's a program that of course. It's a program that I have tested the waters with, and then I hosted it. But the beauty of it is that we have got the right host for the program, and we're relaunching it today. And the program is Love SA. I want to take this time and welcome you all, our friends on Facebook, on Bold Moves Radio. You are heartily welcome, and let's be together as we relaunch Love SA with our new host, and that is Ntshembo M. That is Mr. Ntshembo Manganye. And today we're going to take a journey with this wonderful host of ours and get to know him, and also get to understand or to see what to expect on this program. But I just want to take this time and say it's a blessed evening. And in Polokwane, of course, where it has been flooding yesterday and today, it has been hectic. I must be honest with you. In fact, I'm just from a tractor now because, when you live in the farm, you become your own municipality. You have to fix your roads and all that. And I've been busy doing that. But I'm so excited that we could meet together on Love SA. And may I say to you, friends, these programs of Bold Moves Radio, like somebody said the other day when they called me and checked where is Bold Moves Radio, and I said we are in the city of Polokwane, and he said, "Oh, so you competing with Capricorn and the SABC?" I said, No, we're not competing with those. Those are our big brothers. I work for the SABC, and I love Capricorn FM. It's a station which is led by one of our brothers. But what we are doing as an online radio station, we are augmenting, we are supplementing, we are bringing in something to build upon what these great radio stations are doing. That is why when you look at our programming, we're not in any way trying to compete with the SABC or compete with Capricorn, or no, we're coming into a space where we feel this is our conviction, this is what makes us tick, this is what we want to address, and then we really get into that. Remember, it was on Tuesday when we were relaunching experience or the African experience, explore the African experience with two wonderful hosts. And I tell you, that program is going to really, really empower many of us as Africans. And of course, we've got The Prudent Woman, which has been running a show that ladies found their home in. And of course, we've got the morning devotion and the legendary Minkondi Atingwazi. And the reason is Minkondi Atingwazi. Look, we go freestyle. I must be honest with you. It does not matter if my guest is Tonga, we speak Tonga. If he's Venda, we go all over, But it's a very important program because it's a program that is very close to my heart, which celebrates people that are making a difference. Now, when we talk today about Love SA, friends, I want you to know this is a program that also it's very much important, and it's a program that I believe it's a call for every South African. Here I zoom to South Africans because it is Love SA, Love South Africa, and that is the name of the program. But the cherry on top on this program is the host. The man will be hosting this program, and I'm not going to a lot of things, but I would love, as I bring him in, I would love for him to tell us exactly who he is, where he's been, what he's been doing, because he's a man who, when we talk about love, he's an embodiment of that. He's a man who is in the legal fraternity running his own firm, and he's a man who, again, is a philanthropist. He has touched many lives, he's helped many students. But you see, I said I'm not gonna preempt, but I'm tempted this resume, but isitsonga ayihlolo alingivalawuleli makweru ukona la. So that with all these technicalities of load shedding and all that, sometimes we cannot break through as we wish to, but we've got a way of getting around, and that is Ntshembo M. That's Mr. Ntshembo Manganye. But good evening and welcome to Love SA.
Good evening, Uti. Good evening to all the participants, all the stakeholders from all corners of this beautiful world. And I'm saying, Dumelang, wherever you are. And what an introduction. I'm humbled, but the manner in which you did that and the time it took, the efforts put into that, and that in itself is a challenge to me. That it's a task that which I'm at a law firm that I founded in 2008.
But no good.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so very much. There was a little bit of a glitch, and I could not. I think we were battling with network, and if you could start exactly telling us who Ntshembo Manganyi is, and I'll be able to project you on the screen, because it was hard for me to put you on the screen, and now I got it. I got it right. So, who is Ntshembo Manganyi? Like you are beginning to relate yourself to us.
It's very important to always, when one comes by person such as this, just to go back to the roots where it all started. I was born at Joseph village, just outside Malamlele, and from which village I moved to Tomo outside Giyani in 1984, where I did my lower level of schooling as well as my secondary schooling before I could proceed to East of the North in Polokwane, where I did my law studies through an LLB degree, which saw me qualifying later on as an attorney that I am, and moved quickly to form my law firm under the style and name Ntshembo Manganyi Incorporated in 2008.
Lovely, my dear brother. Good to hear that. You know, humble beginnings, great strides, and one find themselves out there. And before we even go very far, tell us a little bit about Ndangulwa Manganyi. You know, we know Istsonga, we say, "Unanga balekanga enhlangeni." You know, it is the family it's a family which I come from, that shapes my thinking, that shapes a lot of who I am and what I do in life. Whether it was positive or negative, but it has got a way of shaping me. What can you tell us about the Manganyi family?
Look, like mine is not a unique story. It's a story that shares many characteristics with many that are of my age. I grew up in a family that consisted of 8 siblings, including myself there, and with our father working in Johannesburg. So, you know, we did all what anyone at our age would do. I grew up playing all the games, Learning everything, you know, uyahlambela la emlandzeni imikari ya kuba kuna mati kufana sisi kuna timpula. I did all those kind of things, kurisa na mina like anyone else. But interestingly, which I think is very close to what we are doing now, my father being in Johannesburg, the only way to communicate with my mom at home was to do nothing else but write letters. And it was through those writings of his letters that I must indicate that I developed an interest in communication. And in fact, my first love career-wise was to do radio. And it's so interesting that here I am today. You know, having established myself in the legal profession, but now fate as it would have it, now I'm behind a month. I'm to start this journey. after such a long period of time, almost 5 decades later, here I am. You know, so the writing style of my father really played a huge role in me being who I am beginning to realize I ought to be, in addition to what I'm already am, that is the legal practitioner.
Now, that's true. You know, it's true of many families. But like I said, you know, families, they've got a way of really shaping us, and some of it we just observe. Some of it is what our parents will be doing. And you said you really wanted to go on radio. What was the push? Who were the people that were inspiring you to want to pursue radio as your career?
If you can come again.
I was saying, you said you wanted to pursue journalism or radio as a career, and who were some of the people that inspired you to want to get into the field of media?
Yeah, I grew up listening a lot to what we then called Radio 1035. That is Radio Toronto Medium Wave. That was the English version of the Radio Toronto, which was based in Toronto, in Venda. A lot of presenters there, among others, I must say, Sydney Baloy being one of them, the likes of Oprah Maposa, Duan Kumani, and others, you know. And of course, I also attribute this to the great presenters we have at our very local radio station, then called Radio Tsonga, now Ganadon and FM, all combined played a huge role in influencing me to have so much interest in radio.
Lovely. You know, I know the big T then, you know, Mr. Sidney Baloy, you're right. He's one person. His legacy on radio cannot be underestimated. He has inspired a lot of people. And one thing that will make you laugh of Mr. Sidney Baloy is the fact that, you know, growing closer to him, is to realize that, you know, he stutters a little bit when he talks, but amazingly, that voice is a golden voice, and he will do stuff, man, on radio, and you'll be shocked how he's not stammering when he's on radio. Competing with those are stuff, man, on radio, and you'll be shocked. I'm telling you. He's not stammering. There's a guy that is interfering with me. Let me take him out of the way. His name is Strike. I don't know how he got in here. Is he out? Yeah, I think he's out. Thank you. So thank you so very much. And my dear brother, let's talk about Love SA, the program Love SA. What is it all about, if I may ask you?
Look, this is a journey that is an interesting journey that we are starting, and it's a journey which is long overdue. It's a journey which is coming at the right time. It's a journey that will see many of us, possibly for the first time, realizing the importance of playing our respective roles in building this nation. Because remember, science will tell us that an atom is the smallest building block of a matter. But in this context of a Love SA program we show, what we seek to do, among other things, is to tell the nation, is to invite the nation that let's fall in love. Maybe I must say that if you have been falling in love for some time now, in the past hours, weeks, months, years, now it's time. We are inviting you to fall in love. But that love is a love of its own kind, because it's a love that we want you to propose to South Africa. And what form of love is that? Is to get engaged in things that will see us as South Africans coming together, doing all what we need to do, at times doing more than what we are expected to do to build these nations, because South Africa cannot be South Africa that we need to see. South Africa cannot be the South Africa that the Constitution envisages if you and I do not play our respective roles in the manner that is aimed at enhancing the beauty that South Africa embodies.
That's awesome. And if I may ask, looking at yourself, because I've learned your passion in building SA, what are some of the things beside practicing as an attorney? What are some of the things that you're doing personally when it comes to building South Africa?
Yeah, it's a good question. Look, if we are to see South Africa being a country that we all be proud of, I always say to people that I've heard it so many times that people will say, think outside the box. But I'm inviting you that as we engage in this discussion, let's not think outside the box. Let's think let's think without the box. Because if you think outside the box, the temptation will be there for you to at times jump back into the box. So let's think outside the box. And the way to do that is that if you, for example, in my case, you're an attorney, the question is, other than being an attorney, is there nothing else that I can do? Or if I'm an attorney, in execution of my duties as an attorney, what else can I do that can help grow this beautiful country, grow its economy, grow South Africa in all its portfolios? Now, among other things that I do, I spend a lot of time talking to kids, visiting kids, especially kids that are school-going age. I've spoken a special focus on matriculants. I would love to attend to as many of these kids in their different grades, but due to incapacity, I only focus on grade 12. So I do a lot of motivations, which a campaign I started back in 2009. And we also, of late, that is as from 2019, motivate teachers as well. We've been to different circuits inviting us to go and motivate, and we do that, and we don't expect a cent in return for that, and we spend a lot. So that is part of saying, if you really love something, you don't care how much you put into it, and whatever you put into it, you don't get tempted to expect something in return. I do a lot of writings as well. I must say, I've got 4 books that I've written. It's poetry. I'm more into poetry, and I've got 2 that I'm releasing soon, but one of which will be my mom's. My mom is literate. She can't read and write, but when people ask me about the books that I've already written, about the richness of the language, I realized that, I did not learn this at school. This is a language that I learned from my mom as well, writing letters to my father writing letters to my mom, reading. Then I got enriched through those writings. So it means if I could do that which make people think that I'm a good writer, then it means my mother is a writer. So having reflected on the stories that I shared or I will share with her as I grew up, I decided to put something in the form of a poetry book for her. And the book is titled Logo Anzilodonza.
Beautiful. And I just want to take this time and appreciate our viewers and listeners. We are on Bold Moves Radio. You catch us online on www.boldmovesradio.org.za, but we also live on Facebook and also on YouTube. I want to read a message from our own Mr. Witness Tiba, who says, we appreciate this program and your effort of closing the communication space, and all thanks to the technology which allows for this kind of an interactive radio to happen. Bravo. Thanks, Mr. Tiba. We really appreciate Big Brother. And then Pastor Jaylin also saying, good evening, Love SA family. Good evening. Thank you so very much, family. And we have our new host for Love SA, that is Mr. Ntshembo Manganyi, who will be taking us through this wonderful program from next week, Thursday. And today, I'm I'm a guest presenter just to let you know this man. And then thanks to Tlangalani Mabunda also. Thank you so very much, Virginia Manganyi. Thank you. We acknowledge your family. And Mr. In fact, Ntshembo M, let me not start by Mr. because we know you here as Ntshembo M on this program. Let's look at what to expect from this program, and also what message do you have for us? What is the vision of this program, and how do you execute that vision, and what can we expect as the general public? And I'll let you answer that after this commercial break.
Streaming 24/7.
24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana. Oh, Afrika nakupenda sana.
Thank you once again and welcome back. You're listening to Bold Moves Radio and you're watching us on Facebook and also on YouTube. And Reverend R.A. Matebola, good evening, sir. Thank you so very much. And we are relaunching Love SA with our host, Ntshembo M, who will be taking us through this wonderful program. What do we expect? What can we expect? What is the vision of this program and how do you execute it? We want to know from today what to expect from this program and also what inspires this program the most. I heard you saying, look, it is our prerogative as a nation or as South Africans to love this country by contributing either in our career spaces or philanthropic spaces or any other way, but we have to build it, for no one will build it for us. What do you have to share with us about the depth of this program?
Look, to start with, we are today in South Africa, especially the democratic South Africa, because we had people in the past that looked at the order of the day and not happy with the state of affairs. They sacrificed dearly, and most of whom had to sacrifice their life. The list cannot be exhaustive if one were to start about those that did that paid a huge price. Now, they did that because they had a vision of South Africa that they needed. And now the responsibility lies with us that we have been given a baton to run this race. Now the question is, are we still on course? Are we still in line, in tune with what all those that fought for freedom, all those who engaged in a struggle against apartheid? My answer to that is we need to be aligned. We are out of alignment. Like a vehicle that would go out and at some point it starts reporting that it needs to go for alignment. As a nation, we need alignment, and part of that alignment will also manifest itself through a program such as this Love SA. And remember, Love SA is just one of many ways that should be there to try to get us back to track to march towards a full realization of a South Africa that we all need. Now, the question that I have in answering this question that you're posing to me is, for example, when somebody is angry at home, when you're upset at home, what do you do? Do you kick the table? Do you break down things? Do you kick all the things that you come across in your house? And the answer is obviously no. Now, having said that, if you look at the trend of things, there's nothing wrong, for example, with somebody protesting. I have issues myself about many things, but the question is the manner in which, for example, we protest against things that we are not happy with. Is it the way to go? For example, you ban infrastructure, you damage all what we have. Because if we are to build South Africa, we need to keep on improving and adding to what we have. So this program seeks to educate us, seeks to invite each one of us of better ways in which to deal with all the unhappinesses, among other things that we may have, and how to raise our concerns without destroying the infrastructure, without fighting one another, without killing each other, without being extremes in our protest. If I burn down a school, for example, what benefit does it bring about? Instead, if we took 3 steps forward as a nation, if we ban a school, we are taking 5 or more steps backwards. So we'll always be lagging behind in terms of development. We'll always be looking at these other addresses around the globe that if I were to get money, I should go to Singapore, I should go to Dubai for a holiday. We can have a good holiday right here at home. Not that it's bad to go outside. But we go to those countries because they look after their countries very well. So this is a patriotic movement.
Wow. And if I may ask how you're going to be discharging this, or how you're going to be realizing these objectives of getting us to love SA, getting us to contribute like our forebears who laid down their lives. And, it is not too long for us to forget that their names, which vanished in thin air, their remains were never found, and people died in the struggle. The commemoration of different events and different individuals are very fresh. And you're saying it's important for us to continue with the struggle, but the struggle now being the struggle of building. One of the things, like you spoke of protests, one of the things that it's really filling our screens and our radios is news of violent protests. And but some of them, you listen to people talking, it's like government must do everything for me. It reminds me of the years back, I think we were still with the SABC, having built a house for a destitute individual. On presenting the house, and everybody's excited, cut the ribbon, and people are getting in beautiful house because this person was living under a tent which was just covering for a shelter. And the person went from room to room, look around, and said, "There's no television here. How am I going to," complaining of things that are not there instead of appreciating what is there. It's like somebody who said, some people are so negative that, even if you give them a bag full of money, they will say, "But this is not the color. This is not my color of bag. You could have done better using this color." Are we maybe somehow expecting more from government while we're not putting anything? Or is it right for us to expect that way? Or do we have a part to play in building the South Africa that is going to be the South Africa that we desire to see?
Look, the line's a bit bad, but I think I get the crux of the question. Look, when we talk of all these things that we need to do and all these things that we need not do, it doesn't only apply to the citizens, people on the grassroots level, people in the street. It applies to public officials as well, that when you are assigned to an office,
Mm.
it's a huge vote of confidence in you. It's not an employment. It's a massive assignment. It's a massive vote of confidence. You are there as a representative. When you are assigned to that office, if you love SA, you will do whatever it takes to get service delivered to the people. When you are assigned to that office, you should be able to communicate with those who elected you, even those who did not elect you, because you don't only represent those who elected you. You should be able to communicate with them that, notwithstanding the needs, for example, that are there, the expectations of the public, we are doing 1, 2, 3. There must be a program of action. People should know why, for example, we don't have tar roads at our village. We don't have tar roads at our village, but our turn is coming in 2025. In 2023, there's a big project taking place at, say, Nandon or elsewhere. That's what people need to know. But if people are in the dark, chances are they are likely to behave the way we have seen people behaving. So we seek to educate both public officials as well as those who assign them with these roles to go there. And remember, there's one artist, I just can't really remember, even if I remember, we're not here to promote a particular artist, but he once lamented in one of his beautiful works that when you vote and when you get elected, think of those who died. And, for me, that's a profound statement, that whatever you do, when you're assigned to something, think of those that are looking up to you. Think of those that made it possible for you to be there. When you are assigned to take care of public funds, think of those that are out there expecting you to deliver through those funds.
That's true. And I would love to also appreciate our sister Dolly Mutlaru there and Mr. Omen Mashaba, Pastor Lily Maja, Brother Desmond Mungwai. Thank you so very much. And let's talk about, even as I said, how are you going to discharge, or how are you going to realize these objectives that you have as a program? If are you going to be just dishing out from the studio, or are we going to see guests coming through? And if so, what kind of guests are you looking at, and what is it that you would love to, or if I'm sitting here as a listener and as a viewer, what kind of guests can I refer if you're going to be taking guests in your program?
As I said, that this it's a patriotic movement, but it's something that we do together. In Silovido or Speli, they say Lutukalati Albini Gosha, it's Changanabako Arnusor. So to realize the objectives of this show, we will need to go out, and we have already started to see list of people that are interested, that we approach, that some are approaching us through what they have heard already about this program coming up. People who will be able to speak from their hearts. People will be able to speak to the nation through, not through their lips, but from their hearts, from the bottom of their souls, to tell us what it takes and how we should go about to see to it that we have as many of the like-minded as them, we must replicate the goodness that we have, because we have got a lot of goodness, but a lot as it is, we still need to replicate it. We need to reach out throughout all the corners of South Africa. So they must expect guests from different corners of what they do career-wise, things that they have done to impact on their communities, things that they have done to uplift the lives of others, things that they are doing to ensure that somebody has a bright future, things that they are doing to ensure that somebody who has lost hope against all odds, that person so it's resuscitated.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Ntshembo. I'm expecting a lot. I know something will be happening here, and we just we can't wait to see what is going to happen. And one other thing that this is just my humble observation, that government also does a lot when it comes to taking care of its people. Yes, there are lots of things that we still need as service deliveries, deliverables, but I've seen our government going all out. Like now, the kind of RDPs that they are building, they are so beautiful. And, it's a home. I must be honest, it's a home. But most especially here in Polokwane, there is a section where they've just finished beautiful RDP houses. But I haven't as yet heard, government making noise about it, letting people know, putting it on the screen, putting it we have our televisions, we have our radios, telling of what they have done, or even interviewing maybe the beneficiaries to be able to tell how they feel to finally have a home. I think that would inspire hope. Are you in any way looking at bringing government departments to share of their programs, to share of their victories, to share of their happy stories? Or because if we talk love as I would love to hear a lot of good news here. I would love to see a lot of good news. When you hear bad news, sometimes you get scared just to watch news, to hear of the horrible things that have happened, as if it's only horror. But there are good news, like you said, good stories. Are you looking at maybe bringing some of these government departments and communicators? I've seen our big brother, Mr. Tiba here. He's one of the people. I love what he does, because you'll see him posting also on Facebook the errands of the MEC, what the MEC is doing, which keeps maybe the nation abreast. Are you looking at doing something like that?
Look, the show seeks to, among other things, appreciate government, appreciate public sector, but on the same breath, equally tell them if they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So definitely, as in maths, they will say what is done on the right hand side, left, right, or one side is done on the other. We'll criticize government by telling them that there are things that they ought to be doing that which they are not doing, but we'll also applaud them for things that they are doing, which we believe that those things should get coverage. We'll definitely readily cover those things and make sure that they are made ready available to the people around the country. But at the end of the day, we need to know that all the stories, good and bad, needs to be shared, because we get encouraged through these two kind of stories. If something bad is happening, love is there because things are not happening. So something good if it's happening, we should be able to make noise about it, and that will encourage others to join the movement.
Yeah. This reminds me of John F. Kennedy's inaugural address, which inspired children and adults to see the importance of civic action and public service. His historic words: "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country," and challenged every American to contribute in some way to the public good. What can you say about these very important words of John F. Kennedy?
Look, government, for example, remains a large employer. Is the largest employer in the country that we know, but that is not enough. That's not enough. Enough can only be brought about if, as individuals, wherever we are, we get down, roll up our sleeves, we do something there. You don't have to wait for government to come and employ you. It doesn't have the capacity to absorb each one of us. We need to do something. Government, it is government because of taxes that we pay. And we can only pay taxes if we're employed or if we're generating income. And there are many ways to generate income. If we sum up why in Garo Matamano or Kumil Matamani, every local one of Sedia Shavseka Cafe, Ula one of profit margin cafe, Chavsa and Garo Seaga Kumekiku, Kotakwenda income you got. Why don't you do that? Why don't we have someone from Palawura based in Cape Town specializing with Mopani worms? We can have the Mopani worm shop.
You know, I'm seeing here Mr. Tutan Ribisi, Makoma, and Makoma Mahupa from Arts and Culture. You know, when I see Mr. Tutan Ribisi, it reminds me his story. And, you know, it's like I can even ask for a space for him, you know, because this gentleman, he did something very amazing. I spoke to Mr. Churchill Khais one day on Mingondi Tingwazi, and Mr. Churchill Khais, even today, you talk to him, you'll say, where are the young people? We are old. We need food security. I'm a farmer. Please, young people, come. Let me train you how to farm. Let me help you. Now the story of Mr. Tutani Ribisa, as I see him here. He worked for our government. He was in the office of the premier, a very good post. But toward retirement, and after he had our show with Mr. Churchill Khais, he said, Pastor Strike, I would love to meet this old man. I feel his heart. And guess what? They met. Mr. Khais took it upon himself to mentor Mr. Tutani Ribisi. Today, Mr. Tutani Ribisi, he's a commercial farmer and mentored by Mr. Churchill Khais. And I'm talking of these two old men because they are all retired. But you know, the passion of Mr. Khais, even now, he says, young people, where are you? Young people, where are you? And Mr. Tutan Ribisi also took it upon himself, you know, to reach out to make sure that he is helping others. So I think these are some of the candidates for Love SA, because that's true, loving SA, doing what I can with what I have, right where I am in my Sunday school song, brighten the corner where you are. You know, I must brighten my corner as I brighten my corner, and that one brightens their corner. Guess what? We're brightening South Africa, and thanks to Doris Noko also, we acknowledge you and we appreciate you. And Pastor Lily, we have seen you. Thank you so very much. And what do you think? What do you think? Because I feel when you sharing this program and its objectives, I see a lot of people that are going all out, you know, to do something. Recently, I was with Miss Basani Shekani. Wow, the lady, she's full of passion. She loves vocational education and training. She brought, the latest technology to Bembe TVET College. You talk of robotics, you talk of 3D printers, you talk of drones. She said, look, I'm overseeing quite a number of FETs, but I don't run around. I sit in my office and I have got drones that are through them, I'm able to visit all the colleges. And I thought, right here in Bembe, and these are Love SA people. And far and above that, she's going all out through her students to renovate schools, you know, donate their labor, renovate schools, tribal offices, and all that. And I thought, my God, people are doing something. And when you don't hear of these things, you think, hey, it's dark, it's gloom, it's doom. But honestly, there are men and women that are really going all out. And Ntshembo M, I would love to see such people in this program. And of course, you spoke about your outreach programs. I know you don't just do motivation, but you have given, even monetary wise, you have given in kind, you have supported learners, which is great, because we have that. If one learner adopt one child, something good happens. And with all this, I'm just tempted, Ntshembo, I'm just tempted because I love what I'm hearing. But allow me to take this time and let's just have this commercial break and hear. And when we come back, I would love to hear from you what to expect.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is.
Streaming 24/7. 24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika, nakupenda sana. Oh, Afrika, nakupenda sana.
There we go. And I would love to acknowledge also Ginani Mabunda saying, good evening, lovers. A very informative show. You are right, Mr. Mabunda. I'm expecting a lot here because Ntshembo M is coming with something that honestly is a breath of fresh air when we talk about celebrating good, celebrating those positive things that we do. Mr. Ntshembo, are my expectations captured, sir, and my desires as I listen to you? Mr. Oh, yes.
I lost you there. Yes, you're saying?
All right. I was saying, my excitement and my expectations, because you can see now I'm lining up even guests, What can you say about all this? Because, I'm taking from your mouth and I'm seeing if when I look at your billboard here, I see the city there. I think that's Suntec in Towers in Auckland Park. And on the other side, near you there, I see some rendezvous, some hearts with decorations there. And it's like Love SA says, we embrace urban, we embrace rural, we tell stories from urban, we tell stories from rural. What can we expect? I just jumped into your show and get more excited. I see my brother Desmond here saying, this is a great program. There is so much greatness about South Africa that we often overlook. Great, man, you are right. What more can we expect, sir? And I see also Malumbete Koni riperile mashaka riperila kunena kesusnene.
Pastor?
Can you hear me, Ntshembo?
Yes. I at times lose you.
Okay. We can hear you now.
Okay. Look, I'm not sure if I got the question, but understanding the context within which we are discussing this, I want to quickly go back before I proceed. When you spoke about, say, government doing some great job, but which may not at times get the necessary coverage. Look, I want to say something about that. Love is it's one way, as I said earlier on, which is here to appreciate good things that are happening, not only from government, because it must be clearly understood. This is not a mouthpiece of government; it's a mouthpiece for the people of South Africa. Now, if government is doing something great but not getting coverage because it's not saying it doesn't have programs to tell people how good it's doing something for the people, it's as good as someone who is doing everything for his wife or for his husband, You get everything done in the house, but if you don't tell your partner that you love them, it boils down to nothing. So government can do anything that they are doing, but if they are not telling us about those good things and showing us those things, people will be angry, as we have seen in recent times, So we are here to help government. We are here to help others that are in the same shoes as government. We are here to look at the beneficiaries of service delivery and those that are tasked with the execution of service delivery. But otherwise, the show itself, it has got a lot of exciting things that are coming up. I don't want or prefer to talk about myself, but if I were to encourage someone, and this would also help someone to think of someone else that can then advocate to come through to the program, because this is a program for the people, but the people will need you to tell us who to get into the studio to speak to you, to encourage you there, to give you wings to fly, because as South Africans, we need to fly if we are to be make it in this global village. There's a story that I want to briefly share, which I think it's interesting and very important and encouraging. That one Saturday, just before the exams of the grade 12 in 2022, I woke up to a story of a young girl in Delmas who had to walk 8 kilometers to catch a bus because it was the place where she stays. It's inaccessible. So she would walk 8 kilometers in the morning to catch a bus, and then when she got to school, she would do the bathing of her feet. The same thing when she was on her way back, she would get off the bus and walk back that 8 kilometers to the house, and she did not have electricity. Now, what I did immediately when I got to know about that story, I didn't have to think twice. I just had to get someone, a colleague. I said, you know what, there's this need. I forwarded the story to them. I said, here's the story. Can we get study lamps? Can we organize clothing? And we did that, and we navigated, and we made our way to reach this guy. We not even have a phone, a contact number of anyone, you know. We just had to go to a school hoping that it was a Saturday. They should be having Saturday classes. And we did about 45 to 50 kilometers. And when we got there, we had to introduce ourselves, you know, looking strangers as we were. And we met the girl. 5 minutes, we were done with the motivation. And the girl, as we speak to you, she has passed a grade 12.
Wow. That's
beautiful. You don't have to know someone to do something for them. And you don't have to expect anything in return when you do something for someone. That's what this program is about. This is the language that the participants in this program will be speaking.
That's beautiful. I
must also say, you mentioned about something about farming. I'm into low-scale farming. So you see, I'm into everything. And I do that just to help people. I'm not making any profit, but just to try to reach out to the community and see what one can do.
Sure. I think that's one of the qualifications that qualified you to be the host for Love SA, because you're really doing it. And, you know, we just have 5 minutes to go. But while you're talking, you remind me of a brother, B.I. Mpakate, a man whose face I've never seen, but whose hand I've seen, reaching out, touching lives, inspiring people, homeless people, you name them, black, white. You know, I think that's being a great South African who loves South Africa. Have you ever seen the gentleman's activities?
Yeah, I've seen he's doing a great job. But you know, the fact that we are speaking about him, that is doing a great job, it shows how much we still have to do, because in a normal society, he shouldn't be standing out, because that's something that everybody should be doing. But he is doing something great. It's great because we are not doing what we should be doing as individuals.
So it you know, as he continues does that, it reflects on us, and he's also saying, he's also you know, parading it to us all that, hey, this is normal, this is right, this is what we must do.
On the flip side of his greatness lies our greed. We are greed. If we were not great, we will not even be talking about him. We didn't know about him, because it would be normal to help out.
Yes. Wow. And it's very much important for us to normalize this, for us to learn from each other, for us to reach out. You know, I think long after we are gone, we'll not be remembered by how tall, how fat, you know, how much I've eaten, but we will be remembered by how many people we touched, and how many lives we've changed, and how many people we've inspired. Like the girl you're talking about, you know, strangers coming in and saying, hey, we've seen you. And now she passed a matric, and I must be honest, that will go a long way, not only in helping her become a professional, but in also helping her become a great South African. In the few 2-3 minutes that are left, Ntshembo M, next week Thursday, you kick starting and you're running. What do we expect? What can you say to us? What do we say to our friends, to our families, to our colleagues?
The show is unprecedented. Xitsonga xi ri ku amberiwa I ku tsoniwa. Because they will say seeing is believing. I want to rephrase this to say listening is believing. Join the movement, The ride will not be bumpy. You're gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be a smooth ride. Let's take this journey. We are responsible. Our destiny lies in our hands, and this is what we're gonna be speaking to you about every day. That we are all birds. We must stop thinking of ourselves as chicken, because the minute a chicken remembers that it's a chicken, that's when it comes down. But the minute it thinks and believes that it's a bird, it flies. So can we now begin to believe that we are birds as South Africans, and we can fly and flying our flag very high, full of hope for future generations?
Wow, thank you so very much. I see Pastor Jolene, our executive producer, saying so much ready for the show, and thanks to our host, that is Mr. Ntshembo Manganye. Thank you so very much, bro. We're expecting a lot, and we just want to appreciate you. That will Thank you so very much, family. Until we meet you next week, as we'll be rolling with Love SA with Mr. Ntshembo Manganye. That's Ntshembo M. Thank you, and a blessed evening.